Like a row. Okay, we live now. Okay. What's up, y'all? Welcome to TC Media. We live on Pressure 23. And we got your boy MJ in the building, man. Let the folks know who you is.
My boy, so I'm MJ. I'm Tiffany's boy. We work together. And she told me about the podcast, and I was just like, I want to hop on. I wanted to, talk about some things, and just get the feel of this is my first podcast, and I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, a little bit, just a tad bit, but I'm really excited because this is my first podcast to do something, on the radio and stuff. So I'm just feeling it out, just having some fun today. It's a Saturday, and it is a little ugly outside, but we good. We having fun.
Yes, it is ugly outside. I will say that. So, what was I gonna say? So today we're gonna touch on a lot of stuff. Like we're gonna touch on relationships, what the black man have to go through dealing with us, you know what I'm saying? Those
Yeah,
strong women, you feel me? We
yeah.
also gonna touch on what we go through dealing with our men, black men. We're gonna touch on gender roles. We're
Hmm.
gonna touch on our spouses. We're gonna touch on a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll start off with like in relationships rather. We'll start off with that. Hold on, I'm trying to share the live so people can see. I'm sharing the live now. Um, so we'll start off with dealing with the ups and downs of relationships with a black man. So, like me, I have a problem with like when a man. So like in the beginning in a relationship, it always starts off good. You know what I'm saying? It'd be perfect. And then when you get to that rocky part of the relationship, which every relationship gonna have its ups and downs, which that's
Indeed.
understandable.
Indeed.
But sometimes the downs be a little bit more than the ups. And how do we deal with that? Like the stuff we go through. Like my problem be like I'm used to being dependent and I'm used to doing everything on my own. So I have a problem when someone comes in trying to tell me, well, you can't do this or you can't do that. So that's my problem with
Mhm.
relationships. So I think that maybe in relationships, people need to recognize your role in the relationship and acknowledge your part in the relationship and how you got to where you are in a relationship. What's your opinion on that?
Honestly, I think you got to have those tough conversations day one. I know when you're first meeting with someone, and you getting to know them. I know it's kind of hard to kind of break that ice, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I think as you kind of go through maybe the first day, because the first day's always the filling out period. You go
Right.
you go do something, like either you go get some coffee, or go get a smoothie, or something. You're doing like a small activity just to kind of like get to know the person. But after, maybe by like maybe date three, and you starting to really feel like, okay, I can start doing more dates with this person. That's when you
Right.
slowly start to throw in, hey, look, this is where I come from. This is my background. This is what I'm looking for in a relationship. And it's just, you got to set the foundation day one, because you
Right.
can go, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dates in, and then you build into this relationship, and you don't know your roles. You expecting your partner to know these roles, and it don't work out that way. You having to second guess. Hey, look, does she know, or does he know what
Yes.
I'm expecting? And I think a real conversation that break the icebreaker got to be on. It got to be out in the open. And I know people in this day and age, when it comes to dating, it's hard. I know it's hard because we look at social media, we look at TV, we look at
Yes.
all these things that that is trying to like tell us how we should be dating, and that's not the way. That's not the real world. That's just entertainment. The real
Exactly.
world stuff is like, hey, talk to me. What do you expect of me? What I expect of you? What are you looking for? How many kids you want? How many kids you don't? Do you even want kids? Stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
So it has to be, people keep telling me you have to be equally yoked, and for a long time I didn't really understand what that really meant until one of my friends, we were just talking of just about just random stuff about relationships, my relationship, their relationship, or whatever, and they break it down like, hey, you want you and your partner to be equally yoked on all fronts.
Right.
If it's dating, if it's religion, if it's how many kids you want, if it's do you want an apartment or a house? Do you know, finances, anything in that area, you got to talk about that stuff, day one. And you don't want to
Yeah,
wait 6, 7 months, even a year down the line,
exactly.
and you in the situation, and it's like, what do I do now? It's like, do I walk away? Do I stick it out? If I stick it out, will it be something else? So your mind is going to start going through some racing points on both parties, so then no one's
Exactly.
happy. So then what's going to happen? You're deep in, a year, 2 years in, and you ain't got no foundation. So yeah.
Exactly. And you wasted that's time wasted that you can't get back.
No, you
You
cannot
know,
get back. You
you
can
can't get
learn
that
from
back.
that. You can learn
Yeah.
from it, but
Oh, you most definitely will learn from it.
yeah.
But then you'll have a piece in you in your heart that you're taking into the next relationship when the next relationship has nothing to do with the previous relationship. So
Hmm.
you're already starting off on a bad foot on the next relationship because you're bringing in that old part where you were damaged or you were hurt, and you're thinking that that person gonna do the same thing when it's
Hmm.
actually a different person, and you shouldn't roll that over into your next relationship.
The challenging part about, when you leave one relationship that didn't end so well and you go into another relationship, you have to manage, like, how much time of healing do you need before you do step back into another relationship. And
That's true.
so for some people it could be 6 months, for others it could be a year, maybe a few years. I met all friends and families that have, we've talked about this stuff.
Right.
And you don't want to go into another relationship and your new partner that you're building with is having to help pick up your pieces,
Exactly.
because it's hard on both parts. And if you're dealing with a lot of stuff from your past, then it's going to affect your present and then your future. And it's like, then you're like, you start to get into this rotation cycle, and then you start having these ideas like, well, are there any good men, or are there any good women?
Right.
And it's like, there are good men and women. It's just the fact that, are you healed to be ready, to be prepared to go into this next relationship?
No,
There's
that's
steps.
true. That's the truth. So like basically you need to go in these relationships and be open and honest, like express your
Hmm.
feelings, your fears, your desires,
Hmm.
to deepen trust and harmony, basically,
Hmm.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
Because what
like also I was gonna say like being vulnerable.
hmm
Like being vulnerable now, you like when you recognize there may be a sting when you were vulnerable, but there can also be satisfaction in a healthy relationship. But like sometimes you can be too vulnerable and people take advantage of that. Do you believe in that?
I do believe in that, because I think that, especially if it's from a previous relationship that, you put all your effort into that, and you were like, you know what, this is still fresh. I'm still learning the dating game, and you're gaining that experience. And so you don't know how much vulnerability are you able to bring to the table. You just bring
Yeah,
yourself to the table, and you're
exactly.
doing all of these things. So when the time does come and you're not receiving what you're putting out, then it does affect you mentally and emotionally. So,
Yeah,
and then you kind of bring a lot of that energy into the next relationships. Was like, I'm not going to be as vulnerable as I was with the last person, but the person that you're with is like, I have no skin in that game over here. This is something that I don't even know nothing about. I'm getting to know you, and I don't want your shadow of the past to affect what's going on in the present or what I'm dealing with you. I get, I've been through some stuff too. So it's all about having to discuss, once again, communicate.
right.
Hey, I went through this traumatic situation. Okay, I understand. What can I do to support you, and what can I do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? And that's where communicating has to be. You have to talk. And I learned this, from a friend, was that the best things you want to put in is that you want to put in loyalty, and you want to put in
Yeah,
trust, and you want to make sure that the communication is going to be there, as long as you have that loyalty and that trust and that kindness. That kindness is a really big thing,
right.
and what you're putting in is what you're going to receive back. And if you're not putting 100% in, even on a new relationship, it will be difficult. It's going to be challenging, and then then both parties are going to be second guessing, like, well, this person's not doing enough for me, well, this person's not doing enough
Right.
for me. So where do we go from here?
Right. So like I was thinking like maybe relationships like like if you're planning on being with that person as your long-term partner, like maybe consider therapy. Like therapy can help identify and work on the root causes of the
Hmm.
dysfunctions that you all may have in each other
Yeah.
that you didn't know you had.
Hmm.
But it'll help because like everybody deals with something deep down inside. It might be something from their childhood or a previous relationship, or
Yeah.
it comes in different forms. Like, and like maybe therapy can help that and keep them from taking it into their next relationship.
I'll even go a step further with that. I think, okay, so a buddy of mine, he told me about couples therapy early, like
Uh-huh.
not even before marriage or even
Hmm.
before getting engaged.
Hmm.
Just bringing it in. Hey, look, we are about a good year in almost. Let's start doing some couples therapy. Let's start getting some tools together, and we know a little bit more about each other with these tools to kind of like iron some things out. And it's just good to have
Right.
a third party in there, so when you having these heated moments, you can go back to the toolbox and pull on some of the things that you learn in couples therapy. And I think that might help for a successful relationship down the line. I don't
Makes
know,
sense.
I think that's what I was told, and I think it's some solid advice. I think it's pretty cool that this was brought to my attention, because normally when you go through that, you do it when you're in the heat of the moment in the middle of your marriage, and by
Hmm.
that point it can work out, or it's already too late.
That makes sense. So, like, what about acknowledging trauma? Like, many black men struggle with previous traumas that they could
Hmm.
challenge their relationship, and it'd be like kind of difficult. Not saying that women don't, because women deal with traumas too. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We probably have more trauma than men.
Hmm.
Okay, so my guest has a question. I'm gonna let them ask the question first.
Oh, me? Which one?
No, I just was chiming in just to listen to, you know what I'm saying? I'll chime in a few minutes when I think I got a comment or whatever. But so far, I
Okay,
like what y'all talking about.
okay. So like acknowledging trauma. What do you feel about that?
You got to say it day one. You got to tell your partner that you're gonna be with. If you think this is the person you're gonna be with long term, you got
Hmm.
to put that all on the table. And you
Okay.
can't do it in small increments, because it's you don't want it to be like a puzzle piece where it's like, okay, well, you got this trauma here from this situation, and then it's like, okay, we were working on this trauma here. Then the next thing comes out of the blue, and it's like, whoa, we still working on trauma one. We tell
Right.
me about trauma two and three. I think that
Right.
lay it all out on the table. Hey, look, this is what happened, from this point to this point in my life, from this point and this point in my life. So no one's being blindsided. And I think it's the same thing with men. We as men, I know we are taught and we are raised to be like, men have to be strong, and
Hmm.
have to be, the providers and the protectors, even as we're growing up. Hey, we don't show emotion. We don't, we're not supposed to cry or anything like that. And I think at the end of it all,
Right.
it's not if you're not vulnerable with anybody else, be vulnerable with your spouse. And I know it's hard because of the
Right.
fact that you don't want to give your spouse enough to where it's like they may use that and flip it on you down the line or whatever. Y'all have an argument or whatever.
Right.
But you got to take that chance. If you trust in your partner, you're going to be like, okay, look, babe, this is what I've been going through for the longest time. I've been going through this for about 10, 15 years, off and on.
Right.
I got to tell you this, day one, so that you know what I'm going through and I'm not blindsiding you. And I know it's
Right.
hard because even when you do go through it, you're going to have your moments of anger and frustration and emotional, that emotional baggage is going to build up on you, but you don't know how to react. We don't, sometimes we don't know how to react. We don't know how to handle our emotions. So I think that going back to therapy could be something that could be very helpful, or even, just talking to someone you do trust, a best friend that may, even if they're not giving you advice, you just put it out there. And I know that, sometimes it's like, well, my partner, is like, hey, why are you not telling me? You're telling your friends. Well,
Right.
me and my friends have been going, we tight since over, so for some years, and I'm still having to catch you up on some things. So it's a bit of a conflict type of thing, but at the same time, go to somebody you do trust. That's my advice, is go to
Right.
somebody you do trust. If it's your partner, if it's your best friend, if it's, if it's somebody you feel like I can talk about anything that's getting, that's holding you down, that's weighing you down, just put it out there.
Okay, if you're in the lobby, make sure that you connect your mics so you can join in. If you're in the lobby, you can connect your mics, join in, and ask questions. If you're in the lobby, watching live, connect your mics, and you can join in live. This is the live where everybody could join in and ask questions. Okay, so basically, you're saying consider the toxic masculinity, like black, because black boys and young men, they're often taught to be invulnerable, like you said. So
You
from
just be like Superman.
yeah, and they taught that from a young age. So like that can make it difficult for them to be vulnerable in relationships. So basically, they need to learn to how to be a little vulnerable with their spouse a little more, because they think that they have to be so serious all the time, or they have to prove that they are a man, and proving that you're a man, you know um, you don't have to be so mean, because it could come off as mean, or it could come off as weird, or it could come off a
Mhm.
little harsh to women, because
Yeah.
we're used to being vulnerable and being moms and being sisters and being soft, and we're softer than men, some of us, and men come off a little harsh sometimes. So
Mhm.
how would you deal with that in a relationship, being that you were taught to not be so vulnerable, you were taught to be tough and rough, and you the man, and really we put a little bit more pressure on young men than we realize coming up.
That's a difficult one because you're taking all of the years that you have been through this in that mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and you're having to now deconstruct everything that you're now having to change and do. And it's a challenge because you don't know how to do it. You don't know where to go to, make these changes. And I think it all based on, you and your partner having a trust, and you
Right.
telling your partner, what's the goings on, and then from there, it's up to your partner to take what has been presented, and it's and just kind of help them out. I'm not saying you got to mother your partner or nothing like that, or father your partner or nothing like that, because you're two adults, you know,
Right.
and but I think the trusting of two people coming together and working this out was like, babe, I got your back. Whatever you need, we're gonna work through this. Whatever you bring it to the table, we gonna figure this out, and I got you. As long as there's no, I don't believe in no violence in a relationship. I don't believe that at all. No hitting, no none of that stuff. No, we not doing that up in here. But but there are moments where you do get angry, you do get frustrated, and you do have your moments of lashing out and stuff like that. But it's not. I'm not lashing out at you, and it's wrong. But I'm
Correct.
lashing out at the situation that is just all this weight being put on your shoulders. With all responsibility in your life or whatever, bills ain't getting paid right, or you're having a hard time with your job or whatever,
Right.
or you know me and family members ain't talking or anything, and it's just weighing on you, so you don't know how to have an outlet. And I think also finding a good outlet would be helpful too. Do a hobby. Take
Yeah.
take a boxing class or something. I think that's definitely could definitely be helpful to take out some frustration. And I'm going through that right now as we speak. I'm trying to figure out how do I handle my frustration? How do I handle the pressure of life right now?
Right.
I just turned 32, so I'm now looking at my life a little bit different, where it was when I was just 30, 29, or even 28.
Right.
I'm looking at, okay, what is the next, the remainder of the decade, going to be for me, before I get into my 40s, what do I want to accomplish before I get into that next decade? And it's been a challenge for me, and I'm having to rely a little more on my friends and family to talk to them about what's the goings on to get me through this. And
Right.
it hasn't been easy, but at the same time, it definitely has been helpful. So I just, my advice is just talk to somebody you do trust. I think that's going to be the best thing. And it's up to you to tell what you want to tell, but I think tell somebody that it ain't gonna try to flip it against you either. That's another
Right. Right.
thing.
Because that's the thing. Like, I've been in a relationship before, and like, let's say you open up to your partner, because that's your partner,
Yeah.
and then soon as y'all have a big falling out, and y'all get mad at each other, first thing they want to do is bring up your past. Well, you
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
this and you did that. Yeah, and I trusted you with that information not to use it against me. But my thing is, like, me personally, I've healed from the past. Like, I don't regret
Hmm.
anything I've ever been through in life, because it made me the person that I am today. So they really can't use that against me. But like, let's say people that's not healed and you
Hmm.
bring up their past, that could be really hurtful. Like,
Yeah.
so people are skeptical of opening up to their spouse, and which is keeping this stuff buried down inside them, which is causing problems in the relationships in the past, because your partner might do something that triggers that part of you that's not healed.
Hmm.
So it,
Yeah.
it's important that people realize you have to heal before you move on to another relationship, or you have to heal. Even it don't even have to be a relationship. You have to heal yourself from things that you went through in life, so you
Mm-hmm.
can be the best version of you. So when you decide that you want to get in a relationship or move forward in a relationship, you won't taunt that relationship or ruin that relationship because of the problems that you've held in the past. So it's very important that you have your mental under control before you try to move on in relationships or in life, period.
Yeah. Now I'm just reading the comment right here.
Okay.
It was saying you can't talk to everyone. Everyone, people will turn things around and have you looking at you in a bad, looking at you as a
That's
bad
true.
person, and that is true. You know,
Yes.
you definitely want to be mindful of who you do, who you do talk to, because some people
Right.
may have an agenda to you flip that on you and use that as a weapon
Exactly.
on
Like,
you, and that is very true. I'm not even going to deny that. I've been in
right.
those situations where it's like I've thought I trusted somebody, and they've taken what I've told them and they flipped it and they told everybody
Exactly.
else, or
Exactly.
and it's like, nah, like, it's, I definitely like to be mindful of making sure if I do say something, I'm not putting that person in a bad light. And that's always
Right.
been like a conscious thing of mine, because it's like, it's like, dang, should I have said that? And then you can't take it back because it's out
Right.
there. It's out in the open now,
Right.
which you
And
can.
then you don't want to tell. And then like some people might be in a situation where you be like, well, do I want to tell them that? Is that gonna run them off?
Mm-hmm.
And and then that goes back to, it says you have to be able to identify a person with narcissist personality. Exactly.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
will have some people that's narcissists, like they're with you and they claim to love you, but then they try to control you and run your
Mm-hmm.
life, and then they use your past against you, like, oh well, you was this and you was that. Well, I'm not that anymore. You knew me from yesterday. This is
Right.
today me,
Mm-hmm.
so like you have to know the difference between a narcissist, because and then that goes to like, you could be in a relationship with someone and they the whole time they're jealous of you, instead of being with you, being a partner, and y'all building each other up. They're jealous of you and what you have going on. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to identify those things too. And that goes back to being a narcissist,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll make you feel bad about what you're doing, and it'll stop your growth because you're trying to please and level down to their level. And
Feel like a
she
Jekyll
said
and
that
Hyde.
like
Like a
Jekyll and
Jekyll and
Hyde, I swear.
Hyde.
And you're trying to bring yourself down to their level when you've outgrown that. So you got to know when to move on and don't look back and don't feel bad about it. Like I used to, I've had that problem in the past where I stay in a relationship longer than I should have, and I know I shouldn't have, because I felt like I loved that person, or that person loved me, and I felt like, oh, I'd be just walking out of a relationship because we were taught, stick it out with your partner and do all that. But if you ain't married to these people, to hell
No.
with them. Don't let them ruin your life. Don't let them take your time. If it's anything, my thing is now, if it's disrupting my peace, or it's fucking with my mental,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting out of there. I'm not waiting no 2-3 years. I'm not waiting 2-3 months. If we arguing in the beginning and can't get along in first 5-6 months, and we already bumping. Now I'm gonna come to you and I'm gonna try to talk it out, and we figure out what's wrong. We work through it, but then we keep back where we started. It ain't for me. And
Mm-hmm.
then like I recently was dating, and nothing wrong with everybody have their own religion and stuff, which it goes back to, like you're saying, you have to be equally yoked. You all have to believe in the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So it said your past is your past, in a sense. People change, move different. People from your past are there for a reason. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And people will use your past against you because they think
Yeah.
that you're still that person, like you're not capable of change, or you don't grow. Like people grow every day. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the person I was 5 years ago. Or I'm not the person I was last year, because
Mm-hmm.
you learn from every experience in life and you grow from that.
You
But
know,
yeah,
it.
like I was saying, like in a relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
um I go to church, we was raised up on church, we was raised up on God, and you know what I'm saying? And they was raised like that, but somewhere they went to I don't know what they believe. They said they believe in earth, or they believe in I don't know what they believe in, or whatever what it's called. I don't quote me. I don't know what it's called. So they like, oh well, I believed in all that, but all that slave mentality, and I believe in this, and I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong. And I try to fix. I'm like, well, ain't nothing wrong. You believe in what you believe in. I
Mm-hmm.
believe in what I believe in, but don't try to force on me what you believe in, because I
Right.
know what God did for me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what He did for you. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So I can't and I'm not gonna force my religion on you. That's just how I was raised, and that's just what I believe in. And people venture off, and people go and explore, and that's fine, because
Mm-hmm.
I believe in whatever you believe in. If it makes you a better person,
Mm-hmm.
then you believe in that and you do that.
Right.
But don't try to force your religion on me. And
Right.
that was the problem. Like I might say something like, good morning. It's not good morning, it's grand rising or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, cool, it's the same thing. Now, good morning me. They used to say that back in the days, and this and that. That's for slavery. And it's like everything, everything
So
was
we.
slavery, or everything was used to control them. Like, hold on. I said, ain't nothing wrong with being woke. And I love that about a brother. But you a little bit too woke. I ain't got to that point yet. And then he was like, well, that's your problem. You need to learn your ancestry. You need to do this. And I do know my ancestry, and I do know my history, but I don't know what they went through 1,000 years ago, because I wasn't there. And then, like, I was like, and you don't know, because you don't know if that's true what they wrote, what you're reading. But he will argue down, yes it is, this is what it is, and that's what it is. You don't know either, because at the end of the day, we don't know if the Bible's correct, if the what you believe in is correct, because at the end of the day, this stuff happened years ago, and it's something that somebody wrote. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So
I
I
would.
feel like you go off your feelings or your emotion, what makes you a better person. So
Mm-hmm.
if you believe in whatever you believe in earth, if that makes you a better person, that make you grow in life, and that makes you the best that you could be in life, then you believe in that. If
Mm-hmm.
I believe in God, let me believe in that. i
Mm-hmm.
rather i rather believe in it, and believing that it's true. You know what I'm saying? And instead of, and then go find out that, oh, I ain't believe in it, but it's true, but I'm dead now. You know what I
Right.
mean? I can't go back and fix that. So let me believe in what I believe in. It makes me happy, and I'm smiling every day. That's how I feel. So basically, it didn't work out, because we always bumped heads on, like, he would always, but he knew all the quotes in the Bible, and he would use the quotes in the Bible and try to tell you how it's wrong. And like, well, what you reading it for if you don't believe in it? Or let's, like, some, I don't know. It was just weird. I was like, I can't deal with this shit.
It's funny because we are in the Bible Belt state. Where we are,
Right.
and I'm not from here. I'm from the West Coast, so my life, with church and everything, is a little bit. It's a lot more different than a lot of people in this state that we are in.
Right.
And my mom taught me some things on, hey, look, you praise the Lord, you do these things and all this stuff. She taught me what she can teach me. She did everything she could do, and I appreciate that. But she also gave me some advice that the Bible is a self-help book. It's the
Right.
ultimate self-help book, in that you go to the word to get advice, wisdom, and clarity. But to be quote, and people quote the Bible, for clarity and stuff, to just, to put that in their, in their conscience, to make sure that, hey, look, I'm quoting this, it's getting me through this moment at this moment in time. However, to do it all day, every day like that, and just throwing, hey, this scripture, this, and this, and it's like, for me, I don't know half the stuff, because I was like, I only picked up a Bible a handful of times. So I'm like, I'm
Right.
looking through and reading and trying to learn this. I'm asking folks, day to day, that go to church on a regular basis. Hey, what's this mean? What's that mean? It's trying to get some better understanding. But it's the fact that we, when it comes to religion, I always felt like religion is a very touchy subject, and
Right.
it's something that you don't want to, like you said, you don't want to force upon on your spouse. You want it to let them have their journey to organically understand. And
Right.
I get it, certain couples or certain people, they like, I want somebody that's a God-fearing man or a God-fearing woman. I want somebody to go to church every Sunday. That's cool. If that's what you're looking for, go out there and find that. But at the
Right.
same time, if you're dating somebody that's not that on a regular, accept them for what they do, accept them for what they can bring spiritually or whatever, and learn from them, and vice versa. Let them grow organically in those moments where they can come together and they can, balance each other out. Because,
Right.
religion, like I said, is a touchy subject. The three things are really touchy: politics, religion, and today's gender identity of what you are. Those are three very big touchy subjects that
Right.
they people talk about it, but they also skew from it too. And you know, it's a challenging time right now, and you know, if you say the wrong thing, you may get canceled. You say that, you know, you say this
That's
over here, you may, you know, you may draw negative attention, and so it's just,
correct.
you know, you don't know what to do in those situations. But what you can do is just, hey, look, I am a Christian, but I'm not as deep of a Christian as you are.
Right.
So, you know, maybe there's something that you know that I don't know. But what I was taught down here was that if you go to church and you're church going, man, you know, you want to be the head of the house, but you're quoting these, you know, quoting all of this, you know, the Bible stuff and this stuff, and then you got to be the leader of this stuff, you know,
Hmm.
based on the foundation of church. And it's like, that's cool, that's good and everything, but also there's more than that as well. You know,
Exactly.
if you're gonna let the man lead, let him lead, but also at the same time, the man, you know, sometimes the man want to fall back and hear what his woman has to say, you know, and that's teamwork right there. You know, that's, hey, look, the man ain't gonna know everything. You know,
Right.
I'm not gonna lead you into something that's gonna get us hurt. You know,
Right.
If you have some ideas, you know,
They
like
said
this,
let's
like
learn
learn
together.
together.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
we learn
right.
together. Hey, look, I may not know everything. You know, I don't know everything. You know, tell me, you know, hey, look, you know something better than I do. This is your neck of the woods. You know,
Right.
I'm I'm following through. I'm having to look at that star up in the sky. That's gonna get me to the north. You
Right.
know?
Right. So we also was gonna touch on like this day in society, like the woman being independent now and doing everything, like they feel like they're the dominant ones now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, she said you can just quote it, you gotta walk it. All right, he can
Mm-hmm.
listen, but he can't shy away and not stand in his masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then like so it's that teamwork will get us through whatever the world brings. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
true. If you work together, that's why you have to find a partner. Like you said, y'all have to be equally yoked and y'all gotta want to build together, because if you got one that's building and then one that's tearing down everything you building, you gonna always end up where you started at. So it gotta be, y'all gotta be on that teamwork. Y'all gotta be wanting to build together and willing to go through the satiety in life and the things that you're gonna face in life to keep building and sticking together.
Yeah.
So like we were gonna talk about the independent and dependency in women these days. Like now it's like women, it's not that we want to be independent, we do, but it's kind of like we're forced, because the men aren't the men that our grandfathers was or what we
No.
growed up looking at in my generation. The new generation, they weren't brought up on you got to work to eat or you got to be a man. And you know, we were brought up looking at our grandmothers and our mothers. Like I could start at my grandmother. So my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother and my grandfather was together for years until they passed away. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
believe in divorce and stuff then. That was like
Mm-hmm.
a no, okay?
Yeah. You
So
hung on in
they
there.
worked. Yes, like my grandmother and grandfather, they had property, they had land, they raised animals, they farmed, they worked hard for everything they had, and they taught you how to be a strong black figure, man
Mm-hmm.
and woman. They taught us both. And then it trickled down to their kids, which is my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And their in their generation, that's when you start seeing divorces and homes being broken and single parents. That's when it began, kind of, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a strong mother and you had a strong father, but
Mm-hmm.
then they separated and divorced. Okay, so then your mother still is the strong individual, because that's who always ended up with the kids. It said a lot of women are irritated begrudgingly because we haven't been allowed to embrace our feminine.
Femininity.
There would be a damsel in distress for a change. I'm not a feminist. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So it's like we seen our mothers, so then it's the kids, which is us, and we're seeing our mothers growing up being strong and having to raise these kids, because that's who was left with the kids, the mothers. The fathers
Mm-hmm.
got to go off and do what they wanted to do in that generation, and the mama got to raise these kids, and the mama got to be strong and depend on child support when it came in. Like with my father, he worked in the coal mine. So
Mm-hmm.
if you know anybody working coal mine, they stayed laid off a lot. So and my mom had three kids, and he only was had to pay $500, which is not shit, because
Mm-hmm.
they give him 600 or 700 for one child now. So $500 for three kids and a single parent. So that's making my mom have to work two and three jobs to take care of three kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted us to stay in a home, so she's got to pay mortgage. She got three kids. We in school. We gotta eat. She didn't, they didn't believe in going to get food stamps and all that stuff that the system give you.
Right.
So she's working hard, and we're looking at that. And now we don't want our mothers to struggle, but at the same time, that's making the child be like, well, shit, I gotta be strong like my mama. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where the women get that insight, like, I want to be like my mama, because that's who you're looking up to. So
Yeah.
then the men are looking at, well, my dad want him, my dad ain't shit, I'm gonna be a better man than him. In their mind, that's how they're coming up when they're
Mm-hmm.
raised, that's how they're thinking. But then we get to we're grown. So now we're grown and we got kids. So now we feel like, and I can only speak on my situation, I can't speak on everybody else. We
Mm-hmm.
don't want our kids to go through what we went through, the struggles in life and everything we went through. So now we spoiling these kids. So now we buying them everything and we doing everything to them, not knowing that we're fucking them up, not teaching them to be dependent. So we're pretty much spoiling them, and we're trying to be their friends instead of parents, because we were disciplined. We grew up with the whoopings. We grew up with the, like, our parents, they didn't know how to basically love. You know, they loved us, but it was tough love. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so it pushed you to be a stronger person than what you are, which I like that. But at the same time, we needed love and we needed emotions like that we give our kids now. So
Right.
now they're saying, well, we got kids, so we doing for our kids more, but really in reality, we don't want our kids to go through what we went through. We don't want them to struggle in life, but we're not as strong on them as our parents was on us. So it's not dumbing them down because they're very smart, but it's not teaching them to be as strong as we were. So they think that everything's supposed to be given to them instead of them working hard to receive it.
Right.
So it's like, women now, they don't have strong men like our grandfathers or our fathers, because this generation, like, you can't whip your children now, you're gonna go to jail. So you
Yeah.
can't be tough on them. You had no choice but to befriend them and be their friends, but then try to discipline them at the same time, if that makes sense. So like, it's like then you had more of the she said they were damaged emotionally because of what our fathers put them through, so they weren't emotionally available for us. Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, they seen how their daddy and stuff did their mom, so they don't want to treat a woman like their mom was treated, but at the same time, it was okay for their father to go out and do what they do, so they think that it's okay for them to do it. So then they seen that their mama was handling everything, so they think that the woman is supposed to handle everything, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
what's your opinion on that?
That was a lot you just dropped on me. You dropped a lot. Let me think. So, I guess of course I'm not a woman, so I'm just going based on what I've seen
Right.
in families and friends that I know. So when it comes to the fact of the independent woman, I think that first and foremost, it's okay to be independent and strong. When it's time to. But also too, if you're in a relationship with somebody, and I'm gonna just hit it with that angle, and then we'll go
Right.
back to what the growing up stuff.
Okay.
If you have a partner that is like, hey, is willing to help lighten the load, let them do it. Let them step up. Let them be that
Okay.
man that you always, women always want. I want a provider. I want a leader. I want a protector. And if that man is bringing those three things to the table, let him do it. Let him do what he needs to do. And it may not just, it's not just financially, it's just support. Hey, I may not be able to support you financially all the time, but I can support you in these areas here. If you're trying to go back to school or get a
Right.
new job, I got you. Cool. Let's do this. You got a game plan? Cool. You want to buy some property? Cool. Let's do that, or whatever. But to go into a relationship and being like, I'm a strong, independent woman, and it's like, well, dang, where do I fit in all of this?
Right.
Because if you're strong and independent, then what you need me for? And that is going to be on a man's mind. Is like, well, I'm dating her, I'm in a relationship with her, and she's saying she's strong and independent, but she also wants these things here. It's kind of like it's bouncing off each other. It's kind
Right.
of contradictory, because it's like you want these things, but you want to be strong and independent. You can do that, but you have to toe the line with that. Now, to go to talking about kids growing up and generation and stuff like that, in the Black community, we have been dealt with these traumatic cycles, where
Right.
in each area deals with different things. So yes, you had certain areas where you had the man of the house. Yes, he was working them jobs. Sometimes you had a father that worked two jobs, maybe even
Right.
three, to support his wife and his kids. And so the father may not have been there all the time because he's having to make the money so that food is on the table, the wife don't need anything or whatever, bills is getting paid or whatever. Then you have some homes where it's like the father ain't there because he may have another family across town. You don't know
Right.
that. You don't know that until Papa, dies and everybody's coming to the
Exactly.
funeral. So
Exactly.
so it's true. You
That's
be
true.
at the
That's
funeral, you
true.
be looking like, well, that's my daddy too.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, how is that? No, that's my daddy. So it's you run into those situations. But
Right.
when it comes to raising kids today, it is different compared to how it was even in the 90s. I'm a
Right.
90s baby. So my parents raised me, hey, look, education is important. You don't need and want for nothing. You got food in the house, clothes on your back, a place to stay. If we got support system. If you got problems with school, we're gonna be up there. So I had loving parents that's gonna, that role for me day one. It's like, hey, look, you got a problem, we up there right now. We talking to the teachers, we talking to whoever's messing with our child. So that's my life growing up, was that my parents, me being an only child on top of that, and if my mom had more than one kid, she would have did it for all her kids, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
especially for this one, me, she really doubled down, was like, my kid needs the best support he's going to get. And if I have to fight for that, I'm going to do that. So, and that's the same with my dad. My dad went, he was there when I was playing sports, after school programs. He ran a cooking class and stuff like that. So I remember those days when I was growing up. It was like, my dad was around, and in his life growing up, it was a little bit different than mine. Well, I take that back. It was a lot different than mine,
Exactly.
So wherever he took, he did all he can do to do better for his son. It'd be like, hey, look, we're gonna do everything we can to change the narrative. And my mom always told me this. She was like, whatever we don't like what we did, you do better by your kids. It's going to be so on and so on. Some your kids are not going to like what you did. You tell them, hey, look, you do different than what we did for you. But you always
Exactly.
make sure that you break those cycles day one. Hey, look, I'm a part of a new cycle. What I'm saying? There may things that I don't like what my parents did, but you know what? When I have kids of my own one day, I'm gonna do things different, just a little bit,
Right.
because I like what my parents did. They had my back when it came to anything.
Right.
So, and that's what you broke everything down as far as like, what your father went through and what your mom went through. And you also got to look at it like this: the working environment too, the working in this day and age versus with the working back then. You had a lot of men, especially working in coal mines and stuff like that. You didn't have, the women working in coal mines like that. That's didn't start,
Right.
cropping in into like the 70s, 80s, 90s, and then it really just launched off in the 90s because you had, more women in those men dominant environments. And they was like, I gotta have a voice too. I want those promotions too. If I'm not getting it from here, I'm gone. I'm going to go get it from somewhere else. And
Exactly.
so now that independent woman mentality and mindset, started to kick in. Is like, hey, I have to be a strong independent woman. I have to do this because I have to have my back, because no one over here is having my back. And it's just the times of the environment. We're in the 2020s now, and it was much different in the 2010s and in the 2000s and even in the
Exactly.
90s. So, and then also too, you see it on TV. You see that, hey, look, women are now having more of a voice in entertainment and sports media. So it's they're still competing, but they now have a foothold. So now it's the fact that it's like, hey, we're doing these things now. We have to be strong, independent, just because we're fighting in a male dominant role in this world, even to this day. So it bleeds into relationships. It all goes back to relationships, because you saw
Yeah.
what Big Mama went through. Big Mama had all them kids and grandkids in the house.
Yes.
And you not just taking care of my child's grandkids, but I'm taking care of my niece's grandkids and all these other stuff. So whatever, whoever was in the house, you had a house full of kids. So
Exactly.
it's just a bit, times are different now. Times are much different. And also that too, like you brought up earlier, was that um
They say it's different. Yeah.
yeah, it's just different.
Yep,
And
you don't have the sleepovers or none of that.
yeah,
Like we had
yeah,
them
yeah,
cabins at grandmama house. We was happy to go down there
yeah,
for the summer and spring break.
right. But also too, there was a time when you was living in a neighborhood where it's like everybody was your parent, from what I was
Yes.
told. I didn't live in that
Yes.
type of environment, but that's what it was told to my parents, was like, hey, look, when you was in this neighborhood here, Miss Johnson from down the street will whoop your butt just as much as your
Yes,
mama would. You know, and,
yes.
they had a mutual agreement. Hey, look, if my child messes up, you can whoop my
You let me
child too.
know. Yeah.
Let me know, and then you can tell me, and I'm gonna whoop my child. You know, so
Ask
it's just
again. Yes.
it's just that
Yes.
type of environment. It's just different today. Like you said, everybody's trying to be friends with their kids, but it's like they don't know how to be parents anymore. Because things
Yeah.
have changed, laws have changed. Whereas like you can't whoop your kids.
You
You
can't
whoop
whoop
your
them. You
kids,
can't discipline them. So
CPS
what do
out on
you
your
do?
door. You see anything. Kid coming. Not eating. CPS on your door. And it's
Oh
they're
yeah.
not. You're not going to the. Not going to the root of the situation. Why isn't your
Yeah.
child
And
not
back
eating?
then we weren't hungry because we know we go around the corner to
Yeah, everybody
Ed
supports
house,
everybody.
Sarah house. They gonna feed you. They
Mm-hmm.
gonna feed you. You wasn't hungry. Then we had
Mm-hmm.
like peach trees and plum trees and apple trees.
Mm-hmm.
You'll not see that no more.
No.
Like
We
we gonna
lost
go
a lot of
jump
our
in the
community.
yard and steal them peaches. We know he gonna be mad, but we was gonna eat.
The community is different. We lost a lot of that community. We were all on one page at one point when it was a time period. Now this period is different, and
Right,
I would love for it to get back to that one page mindset where it's like, it takes a village to raise
right.
everybody,
And it really does.
and we gotta work on each other. Men gotta work with each other, egos have to be out the door because it's like, hey, no one's out doing whatever. No one's out manning you. It's okay. Have each other's back. You my brother.
Right.
I got you. I'm gonna help my sister over here. I got you. So we're in a time right now where it's like it's you versus us, we versus them, and just
Right.
everybody before it begins because it's just we
Mm-hmm.
are in that state. Whereas we're on survival and you don't know who to trust.
Exactly. And that's the thing. So we also we were going to touch on gender roles in
Yeah.
this generation. So like the gender roles in the United States in 2024, they are complex and they can be viewed in many ways, like at the workplace, politics, gender binary mindset, gender messages, media. But
Mm-hmm.
my thing was recently, well we'll touch on how I view it rather.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the days, you were scared to come out. You couldn't come out. You couldn't be yourself because you were judged. They would you be stoned. They'll kill you. Or people didn't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then it moved on up. Well, people started accepting it more, or whatever. But now it's okay. You have laws. You have rules. It's okay. Y'all have the same bathroom. It's cool to come out
Yeah.
with it. Okay, so the thing was that we were gonna touch on my thing was like with Boosie.
Mm-hmm.
I say him because that's trending right now. He was
Yeah.
the perfect example because we were going to
That man
touch
ain't gonna
on it,
say
but he was
anything.
the
He gonna speak his
okay.
mind how he feel about
Yes,
anything.
like he have so much to say about the gender role or whatever. But your daughter, she's gay or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and he said he don't want her to come around with her spouse
Mm-hmm.
around his other daughters and stuff, because he want them to have kids and stuff. But now he's forgetting that you made songs. You like girls kissing girls. You like women on women. So then when your daughter turns out like that, it's not okay. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't accept it. But
Mm-hmm.
that's something that she's seen you rapping about. That's something that she's viewed with women on women, growing up with you as her father. But now you want to judge her. And I don't think that that's fair to her, because at the end of the day, that's still your child. I don't care what my child is. They're still a human being. They're still a person, and you're still my child.
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn my back on my child. If you decide that you want to go out and I have a son and you want to be a woman, be the best woman you can be. Guess what? I'm not going to deny you, because you have to deal with enough in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And have to get judged. You're going to get judged on what you decide to be in life, and it's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't understand how he can judge his daughter and just go against everything and go against her when that's what you taught her growing
Right.
up. That's what she's seen.
It's one of those situations where it's like do as I say but not as I do type of mindset, where it's like I'm saying these things but then the moment you do it I have a problem with it, and it's that's a problem. It's you can't confuse the person that you've been raising. Let that at this point, they're an adult. They're gonna make an adult decision. Now, if they're a child and whatever, and you're like, hey, like mommy, daddy, I want to be transgender or stuff like that. Okay, that's
Right,
fine. But you're still a child. Let you be a child first. Let you have,
right,
experience life first as who you are right now. And once you become of age, then we can have a bigger discussion, at that point, and then we can go from there. I'm going to support you no matter what, but
Right,
let you grow into who you are first. And if you still feel that way by the time you're 18, because that's, in a lot of places, yes, you're an adult,
right, right,
that's
right.
when you start to, okay, it's like, okay, I'm gonna support my child. Okay, whatever
Mhm.
they do, I'm supporting no matter what. I can't be mad about that. I raised my kid to be this way, to be, hey, look, I want, I want my child to be up and honest with me. Any problems I have, come to me as a parent. I'm not gonna shame my
Exactly.
child. Huh? Is it,
She said she has 3 daughters. Well, they choose to be in life. My love will never change. Exactly, because
yeah,
those are kids you're
those are
gonna
my
raise
kids,
them who they
and
are.
my kids
Yes,
are my kids no matter what gender you are. If you're non-gender, binary, whatever you are, transgender, they're still my kids at the end of the day. And
exactly,
I'm going to support my kids no matter what. It's not like they stealing, killing, harming
exactly.
anybody or anything. They just making a personal life choice. And we have to now be in the mindset of like, hey, look, it's when you're young, let's talk about this. But as you get an adult, let's talk about this again. I want you to have a childhood. I want to raise you to have a childhood. And,
Exactly.
and I know social media right now has been big on exploring a lot of this stuff, and I know kids have a lot of access to this, so they're seeing a lot of these things and they have questions. And we as I'm not a parent, so I can't, I just have to go on based on what I'm seeing. So if I
Right.
was a parent and my child is seeing these things, and my child's gonna ask me questions, I'm gonna do the best I can to answer them. And if I don't have the answers, we can go talk to somebody about this,
Right.
and and go from there. And it's also that's also a big thing when it comes to church, you know, church and religion thing, because it's you're raising your child this way, but your child has thoughts and feelings, and so it's also a clash. And so I've talked to people who have been in church that have been shamed of because of what they decided to do with their bodies or whatever, and and they feel unwelcome. And it's like, wow, like I've never dealt with that, but it's just I'm just hearing the stories. It's like, huh, like
Right.
you know, I can't give you advice on that, or I can't help. I can do what I can to support you, but I can't, you know, do anything to give you any comfort of words, because I don't know how to handle that. As far as like what to do in that situation. I think the best thing to do is just talk to somebody that does have the more knowledge than what I have. And that goes with my kids or whatever. So it's really challenging right now, even with everything that's going on with with gender identity and gender roles in the workplace or at home or whatever. It's all over the place. And I know that we got to find a way where we can open up more of a safe space, because safe
Right.
spaces are going to be very important, especially for the coming years ahead. We don't know what's going to happen.
She said, I don't have no cut cards with my kids. I talk to them about everything so they
Okay.
won't go out here looking crazy because they don't know. Exactly. You
Yeah,
got,
yeah, you got to
you
be
have to
upfront with your
talk to them about
kids. You
everything.
got to be upfront. Even
Exactly.
if you don't know, if you don't have all the answers, you still got to let them know.
Yes.
Even
That
it's
it's
like,
okay to
hey,
be who you want to be. You know it, and people gonna judge you. It don't matter if you're straight. People gonna judge you regardless.
yeah,
They gonna and people gonna talk about you, and everybody's not gonna accept you. It doesn't matter what you are.
everybody not
It's
gonna
just
like you.
life. So you have to be whatever. My thing is, whatever makes you be the best person you can be. You be that, and you
Hmm.
go out and you kill that role in life.
Yeah.
And don't worry about what other people think. Long as you're
Hmm.
happy and you're doing what you need to do in life, then you just if it don't apply to you, like my mom just said, go in one ear, go out the other. If it apply to you, then let it stick.
I'm that type of person where it's like, with your business is your business. I ain't got no
Right,
skin in the game. If you want me to be your friend, I'm cool with you. No matter what. If you want me to be, someone you talk to on a regular, I'm cool with that.
mhm,
All I ask is just give me some respect, or just be or cover
right,
me with kindness. That's all I ask. And that's just the model of just being a good human being across the board. And everybody's going to go through their situations, but I think it's all about making sure that we have a good support system too, and
right.
we put that out there. Hey, I don't know, I don't have the answers, but you could definitely go talk to them over there,
Exactly.
and and you get some clarity over there. But
Yes.
it's challenging these days. It really
Yes.
is.
Like my thing is like I don't care what anybody is. Just be
Mhm.
honest with yourself and open up
Yes.
with yourself. My problem that I have with it is like men,
Hmm.
men that's like maybe went to prison, or men that's out here in the world that's bisexual or something, and they don't
Hmm.
tell you. So they're out
Hmm.
here and they're with different men, and then when they get caught up on it, or they get caught with the other man, they want to try to hurt the other man, but all
Hmm.
along that's what you were doing. But now you
Right.
don't want nobody to know you're like that. Like, let people know this what it is. Don't
Hmm.
go being in another woman's life and you know that you like this and you living this lifestyle. Let them know that, hey, I like men, I like women. My
Hmm.
thing is with people that hide it. Like,
Hmm.
what you hiding for? You who you are. Either gonna accept you or they're not. That's my
Yeah.
problem.
And that is, it's hard, especially from a man's point of view. It's like, because you being depicted to be this man, man got to be this way right here, man got to be put in this box right here. And if you have these secrets and it's hard to tell your truth, some people it's easy for them, others it's not, so it's
Right.
like, you know it's a hard, thing to do, to step outside your comfort zone, because not everybody's good with stepping outside their comfort zone,
Oh, that's
and
true.
we do live in a society where it's like, to some areas it's not okay, to some areas it is okay, and what do you do with that? And then on top of that too, you just talked about men going, leaving prison, maybe when they went into prison, they went like that, and then when
Right,
they
right,
put
right,
all them time in, they came out that way. We
right,
don't know, or maybe it was always in them, but
right.
it's the fact that, it's hard on, where do you fit in this world, because this world is topsy turvy, it's all over the place. And
Exactly.
I definitely want to hear what the comments has to say about this, because I can just get the best answer I can give on that because
Right.
yeah,
Um, let
I
me
don't.
see. I don't know. I'm trying to find the question. Do anybody in the section have something to say on that? Let's see here. Let me go and see. I can't see.
Just tell the truth. Yeah, hey, that's it. Just tell the truth.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, that's all you can do. Like, ain't no need of. Hey, it is what it is, and then people gonna accept you or they not, regardless. Whether
Hmm.
they are or they not.
Like I said earlier, no, not everybody's gonna like you, and
Exactly.
that's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. My personality may not jive with everybody else, and that's okay. But if I'm still around you and stuff like that, I just have to be cordial. I just have to be,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
I don't want to, definitely don't want to, make anybody mad or
Right.
whatever. Even if I do have opinions or thoughts or stuff like that. And I think that right now is where we are. Is like, you having a thought or an opinion,
Right.
and you're putting this like, hey, my thoughts and my opinions, but they're my thoughts and my opinions. I'm not doing it to shade you. I'm not doing it to harm
Exactly.
you. I'm just doing it based on what I experienced and what I was exposed to, either from the time I was little to now. And my thoughts and opinions can definitely change, because it's all about growth.
Exactly. So basically, just live in your truth, and
Hmm.
if you have a problem with somebody out here and they're struggling with that, get counseling.
Hmm.
Get help. There's plenty of counselors out here. There's plenty of places. They say be honest with yourself and people in your life. Exactly.
Hmm.
And people will open up with you and they'll get you the help that you need, because you shouldn't have to struggle with your identity in life, because you
Hmm.
have to struggle with enough in life. And that's where people get depressed and they get down and out, and you're trying to prevent those things from happening. So if you're scared to open up about it, go to a counselor, or somebody you could talk to, and figure out how you can open up about these things, because you shouldn't have to deal with struggling with your identity in life and struggling with the worlds of life, because it's a lot,
It
and I
is.
understand that, and you don't want to be judged, but at the same time you're gonna be judged anyway, whether it don't matter what you are. So don't be ashamed of it. Don't be scared to come out about it, because the quicker you identify with yourself and who you are, the better it will be for you. You know, that's just how I feel about it.
Hmm.
And it's plenty of organizations, places, and people to talk to on those things. Y'all can look it up. I don't have them on me right now, but
Yeah.
make sure that you identify with yourself and who you are, basically. And some parents can be a little um rough about the situations. Like they
Yeah.
might be scared to come to their parents, talk to their parents, because they might talk to their parents. Their parents might put them out or something, or they don't know how to tell them, or
Mm-hmm.
um parents, we have to be more understanding, more
Understanding.
listening, because why would I put you out for you expressing yourself and you go out there and get killed or something happen to you, when I
Mm-hmm.
could just go ahead and address the issue and we see what we can do about it, or if that's what you're gonna be, then that's what you're gonna do. Then we're gonna see how we can get through this together and work it out together, not push you in the world or society and now you on your own, and that just ain't what's up.
Right. Yeah. That this world is just is we are all over the place. We trying to
Yeah,
we got politics and all this stuff with this election year. All this other stuff. And we don't know who's gonna be in office. In the coming months and. You know,
exactly.
whoever, if this person gets in, are we safe, or if this person gets in, are we doomed? It's I'm just a simple man. I'm just trying to just making sure my bills is paid. I make sure my student loans is paid and all this other
Exactly.
stuff. I got enough stress as it is.
Exactly.
I can't worry about the bigger stuff. It's a
Yeah,
headache.
is. And so and the last thing we were gonna touch on is we were gonna touch on spouses.
Yeah.
Why do spouses be jealous of your friends if you're in that situation, or why do we put our spouses in situations to be jealous of our significant other? And like in my situation, which even brought up this
Mhm.
conversation, reason we're having it, I was in a partnership,
Mhm.
business partnership with someone in the past,
Mhm.
and I was a woman, he was a man.
Mhm.
He had a woman he stayed with, and he introduced us. We knew each other. I would go to the house. We did business together. We did business together,
Mhm.
strictly business, nothing more, nothing less.
Mhm.
She knew that, like, she would be there. I don't know what happened down the road or whatever. Um, he was doing stuff, and me being the business partner, I knew, but it ain't my business to tell your wife, because
Mhm.
I ain't there for that. I'm here for strictly business,
Business.
So he'll put us in situations where we might be somewhere at an event or something, and he messing with this person. Then his wife will show up with some. She know
Mhm.
he messing with this person. She'll get mad at me because I don't say nothing about it, and I don't feel that's my place to say nothing
It's
about it.
not.
I'm not with you. That's not my place. I don't have nothing to do with y'all life or anything. That's he gotta respect you. So you should be mad at him. Well, it
Mhm.
went from that to she would not speak to me no more. I went over there, because we had to do business. She wouldn't speak to me. She'll come in the house, wouldn't say nothing. So I won't say nothing, which I was like, this is uncomfortable. I ain't coming over here no more. I don't got time for this. And it went from that to her saying, well, oh, you messing with her too. Nothing like that. Nothing like that never happened. But I felt like him being a man,
Mhm.
he's supposed to be a man, it should never got to that point. I
Mhm.
should not have been pulled in the middle of that. Like, I shouldn't have been in a situation where I got to be uncomfortable to come here, or your wife should feel no kind of way about me, because it's nothing like that. It was strictly business. I don't want to see who you messing around with. I shouldn't even have to see. I don't got nothing to do with that. But if we in the same spot, hey, I'm not cool with them. I'm not cool with your wife. We're doing business, but it's our mutual. I don't got nothing to do with that. So my thing is, like, it ruined the business, like, because it was like uncomfortable. I can't do business because your wife go around spreading rumors and this and that is coming back to me. But all in all, she did all of that now to turn around and find out she was messing with a good homeboy of mine that I call a brother. And how I knew she felt that way about me, I never knew that. I just was like, she
Mhm.
stopped talking. I thought she was mad about the other women that she knew him about. And I'm like, well, she could have just came to me, as a woman, and we talked it out or whatever. But come find out, she was cheating as well.
Ooh.
So he was like, well, she think that this and that. And I'm like, who, me? No, she know
Mhm.
it ain't that. Because she see the women he's with, or she knows. And I'm like, wait a minute, what y'all doing together? And if they
Mhm.
got a relationship like that, then why you mad at him? So it was just, I don't know. It was just
Very messy. Very, very
chaos and
messy.
drama. So my thing is, Why do men or women put their significant other in a situation to be jealous of their friends? Because men are going to have women friends,
Mm-hmm.
and women friends are going to have men friends.
Mm-hmm.
He said, because she got issues with herself. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, what do we do as the significant other so they know that it's nothing like this? You know, this is my friend, or this might be my childhood friend. And
Mm-hmm.
like me growing up, I didn't have many women friends. I grew up with men because I had two older brothers. I was the only girl. So all of my friends are mostly men or boys. So, and we grew up together. There's nothing like that. So, how do we get our spouses to accept our friends and not be jealous of our friends? Because I have a friend, a good friend like Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like that. He plays too much though. He's a comedian. That's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
So if he see like and he's playing, he jokes a lot. Like he might be like, what you doing with him? Da, 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 da. And my friends be jealous of him. Like, what are you jealous for? He is just silly. That's what he do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my friend. So like, how do you keep your spouses from being jealous of your friends, or what can you do so that your spouses don't be jealous of your friends?
You know, that's a hard question because it all based on the spouse themselves. Because if they feel like, they feel like, you know, if, for example, if a guy has a best friend that's a girl, and they've been friends for a long time or whatever, and then he has a girlfriend or whatever, the girlfriend's gonna feel like, well, this is my man, my man is my man,
Right.
and this is my space over here, and she needs to know her place, which is the friend need to know her place, that because now we're in a relationship, and it's up to the person to tell that person, like, hey, look, this is my best friend, this is my friend of whatever, how many years, whatever it is, and if anything happens between me and you, my friends are gonna still be my friends no matter what.
Exactly.
And you need to just show that, hey, look, me and my friends have boundaries already day one. We know I have I joke around, she jokes around. We don't cross lines or whatever because that's not how our friendship was built on. It was built on trust. It was built on understanding, and and also from a guy's point of view is that show your woman that you have nothing to hide. You don't want to say all these things and then be secretive too, because then it definitely makes the woman think, oh, well, there's really something going on. So put all the cards on the table. Hey, me and my friend, we texting. I'm texting right in front of you, right here. Boom. We're talking
Right.
about sports right now, or we're talking about relationship stuff right now. And it got nothing to do with you. It's this person's business or whatever.
Right.
And if you start to hide your phone and creep it to the side and doing all of this stuff, of course she's going to start looking suspicious. But if you all out in the open and you doing all these things, then you have nothing to hide. It's like, hey,
Exactly.
it's all about putting all this is my friend here for this amount of years, this is my friend here for this amount of years. And guys will have guy friends, but guys will have a lot of girlfriends, because it's like, what, I worked in a working environment with a lot of women, and
Right.
and it's just, cannot, not make relationships with those people. Some of them are
Right.
older, some of them are younger, or you have a sister or a cousin that you're close with and they become cool, whatever. It's based on circumstances and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's all about making sure that your spouse, day one should feel okay. And if they don't feel okay about that, then maybe, there's nothing you can do about that. But maybe it's like, are you not trusting me, or are you not trusting them? Because if you're not trusting them, then you're not really trusting me, because I've already then told you these things. So
Right.
why is this a continuing issue? So it's the fact that, you got to put all the cards out on the table. Day one is like, this is my friend of X amount of years, and we've been through a lot of stuff together, good and bad, and it's about setting that foundation day one. And and now if that dude is starting to feel jealous about your girlfriend's friends, and that's a problem now too, because it's like, well, I want you to accept my friends and you're giving me all this energy. But if you're doing the same thing that she's doing, then that's a problem. But if you're coming with a chill mind or whatever, and vice versa, if a woman has a bunch of guy friends or whatever, and you the dude and that's coming in, it's like, hey, look, I just want to make sure everything's on the up and up. We all on the same page. Ain't nobody crossing boundaries, and there's nothing you can be concerned about. But your situation that was something, concerned about, because it was like he was
Right.
looping you into more drama that had nothing to do with you. It was
Exactly.
you and your business partner, and
Right.
y'all goes about making money and expanding your business.
Right.
And that's the type of drama you don't want to put yourself in. It's like, if
Exactly.
you're looping me into this stuff, then it's definitely going to make you feel uncomfortable. And it sure enough did. You lost
Right.
a business partner. You lost a good friend in this process. Y'all could have been doing more business had
Right.
this drama not been going on. Now, your business partner, or your former business partner, he's having to look back on this. It's like, dang, like, I shouldn't have put my
Right.
business in this. Tiff didn't even know
Exactly.
nothing about this. This could have been separate or whatever. I could have
Yeah.
tried to protect Tiff and my business partner from this, and definitely put my foot down with my woman. Is like, hey, like, we're business partners. This is what we do. This is how we operate. This is
Right.
what is going on. And if you can't understand that, then you got to roll. You know,
Exactly. Basically.
because we about making money over here. This is about spending. This is about expanding our future to make sure that we good in this house over here.
Exactly.
And if she's gonna help me to pave the way to get there, to get to that end goal, then hey, let her help where she can. I'm not gonna know everything. That's what a business partner is there for, to pick up the
Exactly.
pieces where I'm lacking in. And you never know. You never know that your boyfriend or your husband or your fiance's friendship could lead to greater things down the line, as
Exactly.
long as there's that boundary right there, and that foundation was already set. You don't need to go. You don't need your partner to tell you that this is how your friendship needs to go going forward. No, it's like it's already was like that. If you trust me, you trust that I make these decisions,
Exactly.
especially if you're a good person. Now, if you're on that messed up stuff, then you're on that messed up stuff, and that's not cool either.
Exactly. So, like, what do you feel about, okay, with the Cardi B and the Offset situation?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Okay, so
Offset,
tell me about that, because I don't know much about that.
okay, so Offset has cheated on Cardi B for years, embarrassed her, the
Yes,
whole
I know about
relationship,
that.
okay, openly. Okay, so recently, they just had their third child, which
Uh
she
huh.
always, let me go back to, she always takes him back after
Mm-hmm.
if he's openly cheated. So you
Mm-hmm.
accepted that behavior,
Yes.
okay? So the third child they just had, okay, they're going through a divorce still.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she decides she wants to tell him, well, I cheated on you while I was pregnant. So now he's playing the victim of, oh, you
Mm-hmm.
slept with a man with my seed inside of you, blah, 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 blah. And all the men are taken to his side like, oh, she's a hoe, she's a slut, she's this and she's that. But remind you that he cheated all this time and you opened these doors for that. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Even though she accepted you back, if you were being the man you were supposed to be and the husband you were supposed to be, she never would have had the opportunity or anything to go out there and mess around.
Mm-hmm.
But you remind you, he's cheated on her several times. So, and me personally, I don't think she cheated on him. I think she's just saying that to hurt his feelings.
Yeah, she throwing some jabs.
Yeah,
Cardi B be
because
throwing them
you
jabs.
ain't went out and slept with nobody. So
Yeah.
then she also said that well, you mad about that, you'll be mad about those times me and Takeoff had, which is the one that passed away, that was
Mm-hmm.
killed. And I'm like, now damn well she wasn't with no Takeoff. But she's saying that to make him mad. So now everybody like, oh, Cardi B ain't shit. Everybody's and it's vice. And I'm like, well, y'all wasn't saying that when he was out there cheating on her. So like basically he opened them doors up. Like if you could dish it out, you got to be able to take it too.
Take
So
it.
what's
Yeah.
your opinion on that?
Let's just be clear. That's a toxic relationship. Let's first and foremost. If Carly B is taking this man back, knowing doggone well that he has cheated on you time and time again, and that's his reputation, why would you take him back? You already had 2 kids with him, and you have a third one with him.
A third
Okay,
one,
I
exactly.
I, I get it. You know, you have feelings for him, and feelings in the heart, are strong. And but at some point, enough's enough.
Exactly.
Where do you draw the line? And you got these celebrity folks, they're all about drama. This is
Exactly.
what's the next drama that's going to keep them relevant, and that's
Right.
another thing too. And we don't know Carly B. We don't know, was it, as you said, Offset.
Uh-huh.
We don't know all. We don't know these people. So she very well could have cheated on him. But to get
Right.
back at him, because you never know.
Right.
That saying. Woman scorn. So
Yeah.
we don't know. So she very well could have, but I don't think she did. But maybe she did. I don't know. But at the
Right.
same time, it's it's up to Carly B to make that choice to take him back or not. She didn't have to. That's a grown woman. She made an adult
Exactly.
decision, just like he made an adult decision to cheat on her.
Exactly.
And if that's the type of lifestyle y'all want, then you like it, we love it, But at the
Exactly.
same time, we can't be sitting back here taking sides like it's okay.
Because they're gonna
No,
be right back together.
exactly, and it's gonna be just like it was before everything, all these
Mhm.
shenanigans dropped off. It's like no, like I'm not taking no side because you knew what you was doing. Dirt is dirt. You still took him back regardless. And anybody with common sense, after the first cheating is like, he cheated once. Okay, let's discuss this. But if he cheated
Mhm.
multiple times, we got a problem. Out. I
Exactly.
can't do with this no
Exactly.
more. We just gonna raise these kids as co-parenting.
Right.
But they're gonna be co-parenting these three kids anyway. They'll
Exactly.
be together for a hot minute. They ain't gonna be together for a hot minute.
Exactly. And
So
now they're going through divorce.
they're
So
going through divorce. So I look at this situation as like a big publicity stunt anyway, because you gotta remember Carly B came from Love and Hip Hop.
exactly.
That was her stomping ground. That's what got her to where she is. She just
Exactly.
I feel like she lucked up because not a lot of people from Love and Hip Hop make it big like
No.
that. And she
No.
did. She struck gold.
Right.
So, and then to get with one of the Migos and all that other stuff, that really helped her brand a little bit more too.
Exactly.
So I think, for her, it's behind closed doors, we don't even know if this is scripted. We don't know
Exactly.
we don't know if this is real, fake, or whatever. This is another social media thing, and we as people that's watching this stuff, I get a kick out of it because I'm like, this is the celebrity lifestyle. I'm not a
Exactly.
celebrity. I got regular human problems,
Real life shit
real
going
life problems. So it's
right.
all about you know we as the viewers, are we going to take this and just talk about it and gossip about it and it's going to be on the shade room or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or are we just going to just sit back and just be like, okay, they going to fix it in about 2-3 weeks, maybe 6 months, whatever, even if they do get a
Mm-hmm.
divorce, they got married, it didn't work out, now the breakup is in the divorce is now the big drama,
Exactly.
so I don't, at times I really don't be caring about these celebrities and they crap,
Exactly.
because it's like, okay, one thing will be the next thing, there will be somebody else, tomorrow, so it's ridiculous. I just ain't got time for it. But
And then
I do feel like, it's all
yeah.
drama.
So what you feel about the P Diddy situation?
I just look at it like
Like
he
me
going down.
personally,
He
yes.
going down.
Like with Casey, I feel like you're not a victim. You stayed with him over 10 years. You could have easily been got out of the situation. Now all of a sudden you want to talk about, oh, he did this, he did that. Why your ass want to talk about that 10 years ago? Like you stayed in this situation. You could have easily got out of the situation. I
Money,
think she's just out to get money right now.
money.
Yeah, like you're not a victim. Like you stayed and you helped him victimize other people. So that was the lifestyle you chose to live because you could have easily left. You stayed for 10 years, over 10 years,
He's saying he cut that money off. So
That's
now,
what happened.
yeah,
That's what happened.
that money got
Yeah,
cut off, and now, and then also on top of that too, she signed them NDAs,
yeah,
and from what I heard is that the dude that she's currently with right now, he ain't signed no NDA, so he can talk all he want. Is she's
oh,
telling him things, and he's able to put it out there. I'm pretty sure that I don't know how them contracts are set up. I don't know
right,
if you could tell somebody some things or you can't tell somebody. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what's going on, but
right,
it's out there. It's out in the public. And that video did come up. They're gonna use it as more of a character. Type of thing. They can't use it,
right.
for him to commit to put any crimes or anything like that because it's past his, I think, statute of limitations, or from what I was told.
Okay,
But it's based, basically they're just trying to use it as more of a character thing. Like, is he a bad man? Is like Craig Mack said, they said Pimp Puffy was bad boy, Batman, bad boy, Batman, whatever he said, it was just
yes,
one of those
bad
things.
boys for
Yeah.
life.
So it's just one of those things that, I think it's a lot of stuff. Puffy got a lot of stuff, and I just seen on social media they just going back on, like, he got the key of the city last year, and it's like,
And they
ooh, it's
took it
like
back.
they took it back. Wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
they took it back. They took
Yeah.
it back from him.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell, it don't
Yeah.
open that anyway. Who gives a damn?
Yeah. So it's just I I just want to see how this goes, because
Yeah,
Matt Williams sparked a lot of stuff this year on that interview with Shannon Sharp. He sparked a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
would, I mean, like he started 2024 on a banger, and it's just been domino effecting ever since.
yes.
It's like the moment he opened his mouth, it's been one thing after another, after another, after another, and it's like, ooh, what do you do now? You just sit back and you just watch, you just have some popcorn, you see how this is gonna play out. Will he be convicted? Will he not be convicted?
Exactly.
I know that and I know it's the record business. So, a lot of people that he did work with, like Junior Mafia and all this other stuff, he screwed them
Yeah,
over. From what I was
yeah,
told, we had them conversations, with other people. From what I was hearing, it was like, oh, dang, Puffy screwed this person.
yes.
And it just,
Maze and all them.
yeah, like he owed folks a
Shine,
lot of money,
time and time. And he
Yeah.
came forward and spoke on some stuff, and he was like, he's like, I think he's a preacher or something now, but he
Mhm.
was like, he don't wish that harm on him, but come back.
Yeah.
He was like, he don't have no get back. So basically, he's saying, yeah, I did this time for you, whatever you supposed to pay me. I ain't get my money, da da da. Yeah, he came forward and talked about it recently, like a week or two ago,
hmm
and I'm
And then
like,
I'm
oh,
curious, are they going to get people like Fonzworth Bentley involved? Are they going to try? They going to try to
I'm
talk to him?
sure, I'm sure.
He was close to Puffy. He was working under Puffy.
Yeah, that's gonna open up all wounds, drag a lot of stuff. They really finna shake up some stuff on him.
Yeah. And I'm
But then
curious.
I'm thinking Jay-Z, in the end, I'm thinking he gonna bring down Jay-Z. Um,
They going for him. He next.
yeah,
He
he
next.
next. He next. I really do believe that. Like, I think it's gonna be a lot of people they gonna bring down with this. They just opening it up with him. Because they only gonna let you get so far in the industry, and he done reached
hmm
his peak. Now they gotta tear you back down, bring you back down.
It is really interesting because I'm seeing it, in our black celebrities that they're really hitting hard on, but I don't see it in the other cultures, at the
You
same
don't.
time. You don't see it
You
like
don't.
that, and I know that, they were hitting it with like people like Harvey Weinstein and all that other stuff back then, with the Me Too movement and stuff. But, right now, like they going hard on these hip hop, rappers and entertainers and producers and stuff. And it's like, wow, like they really going deep into like, who did y'all deal with? Who did y'all make mad? You know, and who did y'all get involved with to do these
Exactly.
things? Like it's crazy. Like, what I'm hearing about Puffy and and sex trafficking and and the baby oil. I mean, people making these memes about this baby oil. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. You got baby oil everywhere. Like, it takes months to utilize one bottle of baby
Yeah.
oil.
What
Like,
the
what you
hell?
need all them bottles of baby oil for?
But I don't think it was baby oil. I think it was something else, like some kind of drugs or something. That's what I think. But
You
it was
know what?
confiscated. Cause
Hey,
I'm like, baby oil not against the law to have baby oil. So why would they confiscate baby oil? I'm thinking it's something else. It's gonna
yeah.
be they gonna bring it out in court. I don't think it's baby oil. It's just stored in baby oil containers.
I'm just reading the comment right here. And I agree with this one. It's like whenever a black person gets to a certain point, they're going to make an example out of you, and it's like, okay,
Yes,
I get that. Jonathan Majors. With that whole situation, he was starting to rise up. You know, in his acting career, and he had that situation, and a lot of his stuff got taken away. He lost that Marvel deal. He lost these film deals. He lost these Disney deals, and it's like wow, like if you see the video of what was going on with that, and it's like it was toxic on both ends, but at the same time,
right.
it should not have gotten that bad. But I also feel like he was in the state of New York, and I know New York, they run things differently, especially when it comes to black folks. Like, hey, when you black and you on a status, they gonna bump you down, And if it was somewhere else, maybe things would have been a little bit different. Depends on where location. It really does. He bringing up Bill Cosby and Mike Tyson.
Yes, yes, yes. But like, why y'all never did that to Hugh Hefner? Like, I think
Yeah.
it's
Oh
about
my. Like,
comparing Hugh
come
Hefner
on
to
now. You got a
Bill
whole
Cosby.
house full of
What's the
women.
difference?
Hugh Hefner was on that Funny
What?
Business.
And he kept a young woman. Like, and y'all never went after him. Never had nothing bad to say about him. Y'all idolized him. He was the
Mm-hmm.
playboy magic. He was the
Yeah.
playboy. That
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah.
Like, so what's the difference? They both
What
with
is the
younger
difference?
women.
Yeah.
Now,
So
and then even in our Kelly situation, like I ain't taking up for him because now he was with minors and stuff. But
mhm.
I felt like they should have took the parents down because
Yeah, the parents should
y'all
have
was
went down.
bringing these kids to him. They didn't just go to him. The parents were bringing them. He was paying y'all for y'all kids. They ass should have went to jail too.
Yeah, everybody should have went to jail. You know, you when you pimping your kid to an entertainer or something like that, so they can get
Right.
so they can get come ups and money and stuff like that. That's a problem, and
Exactly.
they not looking at that from that perspective. They're looking at it from this man's an entertainer, and he got a lot of power and a lot of juice and what he can do and all this other stuff, and he got all these young underage women and all this
Mhm.
stuff. And it's like, well, we gonna take him down
We're
and
gonna
we're
take
gonna
them
give
back.
him the biggest charges that he can get, that we can
Exactly.
throw at him. But it's like, what about the parents? What
Exactly.
about all those stories about the parents? Ain't nobody talking about that. They get away scot free.
Exactly. And that
I
and
got
that
a problem with that.
done about it. I think they all should have been charged with it, especially the ones that knew what he was doing. Now they didn't know, that's different, but the ones that knew
They
that brought
knew.
it to him, they knew. Like with Aaliyah, may she rest in peace. But like her parents allowed her to do so much stuff only because they wanted the money.
Mm-hmm.
They getting paid. Like she was able to be over there with him and get married. Why was your child even out the house at 14 over
Yeah.
there with a grown man? Y'all went wondering where y'all child was or what y'all child was doing. And then she was with P. Diddy and all them in overseas and stuff. Like, what y'all thought she was doing?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you not care?
I don't. When it comes to money, that dollar bill is evil. When you
Yeah.
start to get that money, that green community is something else. And
Mhm.
when it's all about the money, it's you do anything, it's toxic, and I get, folks got to pay bills or folks want to live a certain lifestyle, but you know don't pimp out your kids. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Not the babies, come on
Not
now.
babies. Let them grow up. Let them live their
Yeah.
own decisions in life when they get to where they want to be.
And that's why it's hard to see, a lot of these celebrity kids, in the limelight like that because they don't have a normal life. you know
Right.
Think about like Kim Kardashian and
Exactly.
Northwest, or what's that name? Is it Northwest? Is it East
Northwest.
West?
Yeah,
East
Northwest. North.
North South East West?
Yeah,
That daughter, like she's in that limelight, and Kanye didn't want that for his daughter. He didn't
exactly.
want that. And this is somebody that's already going through his own mental health. Ever
Exactly.
since his mama died, like a
He
piece of
been
him
off
left.
the
He ain't
chain.
been off the chain. He ain't been
Yeah.
right ever since. His
Yeah.
mama grounded him. They were like two peas in a pod, and now that piece is gone. He's never really truly mourned, and then
Exactly.
he has some sort of bipolar or something. I guess I don't know his medical stuff, but it's just the way he's operating now.
It ain't right.
It ain't right. And Kanye was always vocal, but since then he's gotten out there, and it's a
Yeah.
little more intense. And he done lost a lot of money and contracts and deals and stuff like that. Some people thinking it's not him, it's a clone. It's like, where is this coming from? This is crazy. You know, they cl-
Yeah.
they didn't clone. They cloning Tyrone. Now they cloning Jamie Foxx. Now they cloning Kanye West. It's like, what?
Yes. It's like,
It's
oh no, no, these people are dealing with mental issues that
yeah, yeah.
to address.
The stress of everything is real intense.
Yes. Well, that's our time. I want to thank you for coming on Pressure 23. You can catch us on iHeart and all other streaming platforms. And I want to thank you for coming out and spending some time with us today.
Oh no, thank you. No, I definitely want to do it again. I definitely,
Yes, we
I
most
enjoyed this. This was
definitely got to
fun.
come back and do this
Yeah,
again.
I
We
had a lot of
to the
fun.
studio and we sit down and really chop it up.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I definitely want to, getting, with others and just talking and we just ripping and just really, putting our heads together on this one because this
Yeah.
was fun. I had a lot of fun. For my first podcast, this was dope. This was dope.
Well, thank you.
No,
All right. So
all
we'll
right,
see you next time. Y'all,
all
thank
right,
y'all for tuning in. Let's go.
all right. Take care.
All right.